Spotify CEO defends Joe Rogan deal in a tense company town hall. Well, this is like an internal thing that The Verge got their hands on, this dialogue. And I mean, he's been taking pressure internally because obviously you're aware that there's been petitions and employees that are not Joe Rogan fans and external pressure from artists that are on Spotify. And it's really interesting to see him try to kind of put the fires out and get everybody back on board as far as the team is concerned. So anyway, some interesting things that I found inside of this. It's a pretty long message, actually. I don't know if it's transcribed. Like, I don't know if it was originally audio and then put into... But anyway, essentially what he said was Spotify is a platform. And we have our rules, but ultimately the way that artists express themselves on our platform is up to them within this rule set. Unlike, say, a production company that owns an asset and is therefore involved in the editorial part of the production.
So they're saying they're just the platform.
And this is where it gets a little squirrely. So they're saying when we have a independent artist, in the case of Joe Rogan, or in the case of any other podcaster for that matter, I'm trying to think of some other ones right now.
Ben Simmons?
Dax Shepard.
Armchair Expert.
I think is who he named as another one. I'm trying to think of exclusive ones on Spotify.
Yeah, Armchair Expert.
He's exclusive. He's exclusive on Spotify. Yeah. So anyway, they're saying that those ones get treated in the sense that Spotify's a platform. Here's another thing to mention. Well, we put this show on Spotify. So it is true in that sense. We have no relationship with them. I don't even think we earn revenue at the moment from putting it there.
None.
Easy. Yeah. Well, yeah. Will wants staking benefits over here.
Yeah. Can you do that, please?
So it is true in that sense that regular people who want to do an audio show can use Spotify as a platform. Where there's a discrepancy here is that, well, for one, Spotify did not give us $100 million. And so many people think, hey, you paid him $100 million. I saw the headline. We want you to take more responsibility for his viewpoint. Well, to that, the CEO of Spotify said, I don't agree with everything that he says. I don't like a lot of the things that he says. He says that he's not like we're best pals or whatever. However, we have our rules set, and he walks a fine line. Speaking of Rogan, CEO speaking of Spotify speaking on Rogan, he says he walks a fine line. Sometimes he goes over, sometimes he doesn't. And he even goes on to say that some episodes have been taken down. Now, you may remember when the show first went to Spotify, there were some episodes that were missing.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is
one of those episodes.
Pretty obvious one. I think there were others. But anyway, he basically says, like, we're keeping an eye. Now, this is the big difference, though. At the time, or just prior to Spotify doing a $100 million deal with Rogan, they also purchased a number of production companies, which were podcast producers, including Gimlet and The Ringer. Now, in those cases, they say we aren't the platform. In those cases, since we bought those properties, we actually are the production. We are the product. And in that case, when it comes to editorial, you can kind of criticize us to a certain extent, I suppose, with what goes out on those shows that are owned by us. So it is a difference. In the case of Rogan, they don't own the show.
They don't produce the show either.
No, but ownership is important. They license the show from Joe on a contract, and they pay him $100 million for that, but all ownership and equity in the show belongs to Joe, and if he has any other investors or anything like that. So anyway, you can read through it if you want to look at it in some more detail, but it's like everything in life. There's always more nuance than the headlines. There's more nuance than the back and forth or the combat that takes place. And these are not easy decisions to make or things to govern, particularly if your product is anywhere close to a platform, like social media, for example, and the rules around social media when it comes to banning people and, just whatever rules a place like Twitter or YouTube or Spotify or Facebook or whatever